going on, everybody, and welcome to the Praise Podcast. My name is Eric Lyday. I am hosting the Praise Podcast once again today, and blessed and honored to do it. Speaking of blessed and honored, Brooke Paninsky, the Brooke Paninsky's in the house.
That was really nice.
Well, I say that all the time. You're just always on your phone when you do it, and you actually put your phone down for 20 seconds to listen to
I was getting ready.
Yeah. And so, this is what I have done for the last, I don't even know what episode we're on, but yeah.
Hey, what's up?
The last 30 episodes, I have said pretty much the same thing, but you've just figured it out. So welcome. Welcome to what the rest of us have been enjoying.
Glad to be here.
We're glad to have you here as well. It's gonna be a good day. We've had a lot of stuff going on. We've got fantastic nights that we've getting ready for. Brooke got to go on a kept women's retreat, which maybe we'll let her give us a quick summary of that. And then we're just here and going to talk about what's going on. We got a song spotlight coming your way, and then we're going to talk about in true pastor form. Anytime you're going to talk about generosity, you feel like I probably shouldn't tell them that now because they're just going to turn this podcast off because nobody likes to hear about that. But by golly, we're going to talk about it. So if you stop the podcast now, then I'm just saying there could be some guilt or something involved with that. Probably you need to listen. So it's going to be a good day. But Brooke, tell us about your retreat. Give us a quick summary of where you went.
Yeah, I don't know where we were at, to be honest. Somewhere in Kentucky. I have no idea. When I say we were out in the middle of nowhere, we were out in the middle of nowhere. So we drove to this cabin, and it was beautiful. And it wasn't like when I say cabin, it wasn't like a sketchy, dirty cabin. It's like a cute, pretty, beautiful, truly a retreat gem of a cabin, almost like a lodge. I would think it would more be
lodge.
It's more of a lodge to me than it's a cabin. But it is called, and shout out to Miss Joy, the host, and you can find it on Airbnb and book
she's
with
not
them
paying.
and all that.
She's not paying.
She's
for
not,
this,
but you know what? She loves ministry. She loves the Lord, and so we can be generous and use this as an opportunity to bless her. So, anyways, it's called Possum Pocket,
which is my favorite name of all time.
Yeah, and no one is talking about that possum was spelt wrong. I just thought
there was no O in it?
There was no O. But I thought maybe that's on purpose because, the alliteration. Well, I don't even know that
or
it's alliteration.
Or it could just be because it's located in Kentucky.
Oh, my gosh. Anyways. No, it's called Possum Pocket, but possum just no O. When you're searching it, and typing it out. But it's a stunning place. And so you walk in and it's just this, the first view you have, the whole back wall is just windows. There's a fireplace and then the stone goes all the way up to the ceiling. And then there's just windows and then it outlooks, or it's overlooking water. There's a huge lake and the trees and the grass and all the things. It's so pretty. And then you go out each side of the main huge room. There are sliding doors and there's a handful of separate little pods, and there's a door to each pod, and each pod has 2 bedrooms and a bathroom and a common area. It's huge. And it's just in the middle of nowhere. And I'm this place is so cool. But we got to meet with Joy's friend who kind of essentially just helps with some housekeeping stuff for her or whatever. She came over one night for dinner. We got to meet her, and I bullied her into trying Monty Joe's chips and salsa.
There's nothing more Kentucky than just somebody showing up to your lodge.
Well, we knew she was coming to help us. We were out of some things, and so she was coming to just help us with some things that we were running out of or whatever. And while she was there, we're like, we want to know you and we want to talk to you.
You didn't mention what you're out of. Was it toilet paper?
Well, yeah, it's one of them. Toilet paper,
Okay.
paper towels. I think some people might have needed towels. Blanket. I mean, there's just like stuff that we were like, can someone just come? And then we needed it in the laundry room, and it was a whole thing.
It
But
was a whole deal.
they were so kind and so generous, and so. Anyways, we just got to make some new friends while we were there as well, and pray for her dad, and which was really cool. And anyways, but it was awesome. So
What was her review of the chips?
she loved them. Yeah, she thought they were super yummy. And I was like, aren't you glad you stayed? And she said, I sure am. So anyways, but it was cool because the whole retreat was focused around prayer. And and fellowship. So we were really able to be in a space where you can't go anywhere, and with 23 other people, and you just got to know them, and it was just really cool because in an instant, so many people would share the same story of the crazy experience that, they endured to get to come. So it's like the Lord was so intentional about every single woman who was on this trip and their attendance there. And then so many of these women were like, I knew no one and I almost didn't come because I was just so nervous and, all this. And then it's like you left there with 23 friends, like 23 more faces that I'll see on a Sunday and be able to not only like know their face and recognize that, you were on that trip with me, but like I know your name, and I know more about you than I did when this started. And I know the things you're praying for. I know how I can join you in that. And it was really powerful. And relationships, just especially in a big church, the enemy can kind of fool us into believing that they're harder to come by or that it's easy. I mean, because it feels easier just to blend in and, just attend and leave. And as soon as you step out of your comfort zone and you plug into a small group or a retreat or anything like that outside of your normal weekend attendance, I mean, in a moment, you have church family, and it's really cool. So it was just a really awesome time. And Brenda got to come, our beloved Brenda, who we talk about all the time. She went on this retreat with us, and we rode together actually. And oh man, it was just so cool. I told her, I said, Brenda, I'm really glad I was worried of going on this trip because I wondered, will I still think of Brenda the way that I think of Brenda, like after this retreat's over? And my answer is no. Like, I even think more of her after this retreat's over. Like, she's the real deal, and she's just so sweet and kind and encouraging, and her story, her testimony is powerful, and it is impactful. Her purity, her genuineness around, like, the way the Lord transformed her has just been, it's so cool. And the Lord is using her in incredible ways for the kingdom, and it's just so cool. But did you know that on the way home we stopped by Chick-fil-A, and that was Brenda's first time in a Chick-fil-A?
I did know that only because you sent me a picture.
You. I did. I sent you the picture. That's right.
But no,
isn't that crazy?
That. Yeah.
Oh yeah. So, anyways, but I get this.
What was her review of Chick-fil-A?
She loved it, and she loved the Chick-fil-A sauce.
I noticed she wasn't eating a chicken sandwich.
No,
though.
she got the chicken wrap. Yep. And I'd never had the chicken wrap because I get chicken sandwiches when I go to Chick-fil-A. But I don't know. She enjoyed it.
Chick-fil-A sauce?
Yeah, the Chick-fil-A sauce. It's kind of like their version of like a honey mustard or whatever. Yeah. It's delicious.
I'm like, I don't know. I think that Chick-fil-A is fine.
Yeah.
That's just where I stand.
You're a Cane's guy.
I am. I'm a Cane's guy, which feels a little bit more rebellious.
It does.
More
and
wild.
You could really like Chick-fil-A, but you would never admit it.
That's true. And I mean, honestly, my main thing is so many people like Chick-fil-A.
That you're like, I just can't like it.
I naturally want to hate it because so many other people like it because I'm a jerk like that in a way. So.
Yeah, well, yeah, you are, especially when it comes to restaurants, but it's fine. I mean, I could talk about the retreat this whole episode, but we won't do that because we've got other things.
Maybe we'll talk about it another time.
I could. That'd be easy to do. It was an awesome time.
Give us the one thing that was like your one big takeaway from maybe something about prayer that was like a big, like if you were going to tell our people like one thing that maybe they don't know about prayer or that you learned about prayer.
The power of lamenting. I mean, that'd be my number one takeaway. There were a lot of people who said that they weren't even sure what it meant to lament. And we were studying about it and really talking about the difference of groaning and grumbling. And like when we're going through a hard situation or a difficult circumstance, and it's easy in our flesh to grumble. But if we take it a step further in our spirit and we just sit with the Lord, it turns into a groan, and it's when you're really aching and really hurting and really just desperate for the Lord to show up and to move and to fight for you and just to, give you his peace or to give strategy or to, relieve you of the weight that you carry about a circumstance or situation or whatever. And life is weighty and it's appropriate and necessary to lament. And lamenting for me has really been what gave me the wisdom, I guess, that I felt like I had that I wouldn't have had to walk through a situation in love. It just would have turned out so differently if I wouldn't have just been with the Lord and just laid it all out there, like ugly, transparent, raw, vulnerable. Like, I think it's easy to think we can't act that way in our prayer life, like, when quite frankly, it's required, it's expected, but yeah, there's a power that comes, from when we lament, when things are difficult.
So for whatever reason, the concept of lament was something, I don't know, a few months ago, I kind of dove into a little bit just because and for whatever reason, it feels like the church in general is like afraid to do it or like just doesn't do it. Like you don't really, it's definitely not something that you see typically focused on necessarily like in an actual church service. You know what I mean? Like obviously there's ministry time and you can pray about whatever you want, but it's like lament is such a big part of the Bible. I mean, like, there's like 60 Psalms that are based around lamenting. And so, I mean, and like if you read those, I mean, that's just a lot of times it's David or somebody that just almost just straight up complaining, but like that's what, and just like mourning in a way. It's like we're afraid to mourn.
Yeah, well, I mean, it makes you feel big things, and we were talking about that exact thing with the concept and the subject matter being lamenting, and there's almost as if it's a pride issue as well, because I don't want people to think I'm a bad Christian because I'm lamenting, because either like they might associate a season of lamenting with like a lack of faith or a lack of trust, and it's like, that's not true, and that's pride, and that's a huge reason I'm sure that several people are afraid to lament because of, what they think people would think that they think about God if they lament,
Yeah.
And Kirsten and I were talking about that specifically with the call to foster care, because you're saying, I gave God my yes, and I know I'm being obedient and walking in the trenches that he's called me to walk in. And then when all of a sudden it really starts to suck and it's really, really hard and really, really taxing and really draining, it's excruciating. And then you're sitting there with the Lord like, but if you called me here, why does it feel so terrible? And that's just foolish, like that's not right. That's not biblical. That if the Lord, it's not even what was modeled. Jesus didn't even model that for us in the Bible, of like when he calls us to something, like it's not expected to be easy just because you're being obedient, or that you are like immune to hardships within your disobedience, But anyways, we were just talking about that concept, and we're like, watching what we post on social media or what we say if someone asks us how we are, and you think because you don't want to taint the work God's doing. Like there's a weird sense of like, I want people to know like that this is still the work of the Lord. So if I'm sitting here complaining about it, or if I let people know really how hard it is, then like that must be confusing for them. Or maybe they won't say yes to foster care if, you know, they see me in a season like if I'm really honest about how it feels, you know. But that's just not true. And, you know, we had to walk with the Lord, you know, with that. And thankfully, he just taught us so much out of his goodness, and he's so gracious. But when he gave us permission and started teaching us how to lament, it was a game changer, you know. So, yeah.
Well, what kind of started because I realized how little to almost none of like worship music
is about lamenting.
Yeah. Like, I mean, hardly any. Just none. Like we just don't, people, which, you know, everybody wants really, most mainstream worship music is all about us. It's hard to find worship music that's about God, which is a thing. But, you know, it's super hard to find anything that's like about lament because, you know, who wants to sing that joyful song?
Yeah, okay, in the same manner, though, I would be curious to know how many songs were birthed from a season of lamenting. I mean, I think of Through Fire, which I know we've talked about that a few times, but like that song was given to me through my season of lamenting.
Well, I would consider that.
And that song,
I would consider that a song of that.
Would you?
Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go. But it makes you think of just like people who, you know, actually write songs. It's just like how many of those came from a place, you know, when you really just like were with the Lord and like, I mean, on your face, just emptying it all out before him. You know what I mean? Like, truly releasing the heavy things and your concerns and your worries and your frustrations and just your grief and your anger and your confusion and just the death that we can feel in our flesh, like when things are just excruciating to walk through and you don't know what is on the other side of certain circumstances, you know? But yeah, I wonder, I would be curious. Like they need to have like something listed somewhere. I'm like, I want to know the background of this song. But I would be curious to see how many songs came from that, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, that's good stuff.
Yeah.
Glad you got to go on the retreat.
Yeah,
I'm glad it was good.
It was good.
The old Possum Pocket Lodge.
That's right. Look them up on Airbnb. Seriously, her name is Joy. She's the host. She's amazing.
Spell possum wrong though, or you won't find it.
Yeah, spell it with just a P.
Just a P.
Yeah, and no offense to Miss Joy. We love Miss Joy.
Right.
That was probably intentional, but I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Just leave the O out.
Do
of
you
your
think that
search.
she did it because she thinks that people don't know how to spell possum?
I think it's marketing genius because how many people would search for Possum Pocket and forget the O because people don't know how to spell possum?
I don't know.
I think it's I think it's
I always
genius.
say opossum.
No, you do not. You do not say that.
Yeah, I always say opossum.
Oh my gosh. Anyways.
What's your song spotlight?
Oh, this is good. This is from Lee, so shout out to Lee because she faithfully listens to Praise Podcast. But a few weeks ago, she sent us a song from what album is it from? Okay, so it's Jesus Culture, but this I think just this track features Brian and Katie Torwalt, and it's called "Why Not Right Now," and it was the live recording of them and. Or of this song, but it was just so good. But I'm going to read, the verses are just so powerful, so I just want to read those really fast. But it says, I don't care what it looks like. I don't care how it sounds. I just want to be where you are. Your presence is better than all I found. And then the second verse says, I've felt the stirring deep in my soul, a whisper that says there is more. It's a holy desire for the greater things, to see them like never before. Oh, we'll see you like never before. And the chorus, it just essentially is just asking questions. So why not right now? Why not right now? And I think it being a song of like, if you're the same God then, you're the same God now. And why can't we see these things, or why shouldn't we? And we can. And so I think it's just challenging. I mean, as people worship and sing that song, I think it would challenge them to think, like, so why not right now? And increase their faith in the things that they could see God do and the way that they could see him move on their behalf. And, that's revival stuff. It's powerful, it's cool. But that's my song.
It's a good one.
I think it's just called Why Not Now. Did I say that?
You did.
Okay, yeah.
I think.
Well, if not, let me say it. Why not right now? Here you go. What about you? What was yours?
So mine, I think, is a repeat, but just because it's been...
You've had a lot of repeats.
I know.
Wow. It's not like you.
I'm in I don't know. Nobody's...
We need to talk about it.
Nah, there's just not a lot of worship music out there that's catching my ear at the moment. Yeah, I am a little bit. I am a little, like, it's just, I don't know.
So what is it? What is your new one? Or what is your repeat? Did you forget?
No, I just got a text message. Oh. And, okay. Yeah. My repeat is The Dove.
Oh, yeah.
Mainly because we did it, we are doing it, did it in service this week, but so I've been listening to it a lot. But it's just a great storytelling song of just it's a gospel song.
It is,
and I like that. And
it's a Carrie Job song, and I like that.
It is. It's written well.
Yeah, it's written really well.
But yeah, so that's good. Mm-hmm. That's mine. So if you have it, get it. All right. So here's what we're gonna do.
Okay, what?
We're gonna set up our episode for next week, or like the next episode.
Okay.
Like we're gonna give them a taste.
Okay.
But we're gonna encourage them.
Because you scared them off earlier about generosity.
I know, and they're probably not even still with us at this point. We just need to give them
like the appetizer of generosity.
So I think we're gonna give them some homework.
Okay.
And then next week we'll come back. They'll have 2 weeks to research this, get into this.
What?
And then we'll talk.
You're doing this on the spot, and it's
fun.
Okay, what is it?
So,
I want to know.
Okay, well, we're going to talk about the book. So I'm saying we're going to encourage them to like actually. I mean, they could get at least.
They could totally order it on Amazon,
and read it, and then at least know some of what we're talking about before we dive into this. So that being,
you know what?
What
before
Brooke?
we actually dive in, and this because this is all live, and I'm just staring like real time. What if we practice the generosity? And what if the first 2 people who email us that they want a copy of this book, what about you and I buy them each a book?
I'll agree to that deal.
Yeah, and then we're going to have a reading assignment.
We need your address.
Yeah, you email us, Brooke@centralnow.com, Eric@centralnow.com, that you want a copy of this book that we're going to recommend you read for your homework. And we will pick the first 2 people who email us will get a free copy of this book.
Deal.
That's fun.
Yeah, we just need where you want it shipped to.
That's it. That's right.
And we will
tell us your name and your shipping information, and then we'll send you the book ASAP.
So
cool.
Basically,
this is fun.
Wow, this will be fun.
Okay, let's go.
So basically, I think it was really through Jared and Maria, but basically,
for sure.
Brooke said, like, hey, I bought this book for you that we're going to read. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh boy, great. And the book is called The Blessed Life by Robert Morris. Mm-hmm. He is a pastor of a church in Texas and has been for a long time. But he actually, I believe he was Carrie Job's pastor.
Mm-hmm. You'll hear it on WBGL.
Yeah.
If you listen to WBGL, like she'll like intro him, like he'll give a word on WBGL that's encouraging her, but she intros him in as one of her pastors. So it's cool.
And so, so Robert Morris, it's called The Blessed Life by Robert Morris, but she got this book. Basically, it is, it's really a book about biblical, godly generosity and what that looks like. And so it's going to teach you about biblical tithing. It's going to teach you about the concept of first fruit. It's going to teach you, and I'm not even all the way through it yet. I'm actually...
but that also, neither am I. But
I got hung up on...
Chapter 7.
Chapter 7 got me. But I mean,
Oh, that's so funny.
it's been a very challenging book in a good way.
In a good way.
In a good way. It's not, and I will tell you, it is not like by the title alone can lead you to believe that it's like some health and wealth kind of stuff. But it is not that, and it's not what we're pushing or saying
or about
but it is about just the idea of biblical generosity and how to live giving the way that God intended us to do that. And so it has been it's led to some conversations that Brooke and I we would like to get into more in depth and talk through it, but I think it would be far more beneficial if you have either read or researched the book some before we start talking about it.
That's a good idea, boss. I like that.
So,
well, has Adrienne finished it yet?
She's, I think, around the same spot.
Okay, Hayden hasn't started because I'm not done yet. And
she just started reading. She just took my copy and started reading it.
That's what she was saying. She was joking because she was having a pool day with the kids, and you took the book to work, and she was going to take the book to the pool day to read it, and she just thought, well, dang, I was going to read, or you guys are both kind of reading the same book, but I told Hayden, I was like, when I'm done, I'll give it to you to read, but and I think it's also cool that we're kind of excited to talk about this, and we're not even all the way done with this book.
No.
And it's still already, 7-8 chapters in, like, we have to talk about this. And so it's just so cool. But like Eric was saying, it's not like a get rich kind of giving thing. Like this book, and why I love it already is because it's the heart posture behind why we give. And it's education almost as to like the tithe and understanding tithe and offering and all of that. And what's really cool, which I know Eric would probably say the same thing, but when he gives testimony after testimony after testimony of the way that he saw God move, and it took his obedience, you know what I'm saying, to then hear the Lord do what he says, and then to see the fruit of it, and just I don't know, it just made me think all right, not because I want to get anything out of it, but I just want to see God do really cool things, that to me, I think is the most exciting part of it, of just you really are going to see a kingdom principle here on earth when you give biblically and obediently and with the right heart posture.
Yeah, I think it has so far taught me how little I actually understood about generosity and how much that I have missed, not in the receiving end, but how many opportunities I've missed to honor God, but then also allow him to use my generosity to bring other people closer to him. And so that being said, The Blessed Life, Robert Morris, first two people, email us, we'll send you the book. Third person, buy it on your own. I'm just kidding. But yeah,
if
get it.
To pay
if
it
you
forward,
check,
if you want to already practice your generosity, holler.
Check it out. But and then next episode we're gonna dive into that.
So look at your calendar really fast, boss. Tell them, give them it.
So it's gonna be August. So today.
So they need to have this book read by
math is hard. So this is gonna come out on the 7th. So the 21st of August.
Okay.
Is when we will release the episode about it.
Okay.
21st of August. So you got a little over 2 weeks. So if you order the book today, Amazon, that's fast. You'll have it by probably today. No, but tomorrow, and then, or you can do that whole digital thing where you just get it right on your phone or whatever, but I can't do that.
You Kindle readers.
I have to have a physical copy.
And if you are reading the book, email us and let us know. Whether or not you're the first two people that win the free book. We want to know who you are and where you're from, and if you're going to read this book with us and join in on these conversations.
Yeah. So that's what we'll do.
Yeah, there we go.
That's what we'll do. All right. So we're going to end that. If you have questions, email us, eric@brook.com, or Eric at centralnow.com, or Brooke at centralnow.com. Yeah. And again, the first two people, we'll send them send you the book. And yeah, we're really looking forward to talking about this, and it's gonna be fun. So that being said, Brooke, anything else we need to talk about?
No,
No.
I think that's good.
All right, so get the book, do your homework, and we'll see you back here in a couple weeks, and we'll dive into this and see what we got. But yeah, appreciate you all listening as always.
Fun.
And
Really
every day
fun.
in every way, let's be people that bring the praise. We'll see you next time.